Welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series, Freedom from Pains and Miseries to Happy, Healthy and Peaceful Life, based upon 108 mantras and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. My questions and God's answers. And today's is the series number 96. Cleanse your inner being, your body, mind, and soul through Yajna, charity, and discipline, Tapa. Pranam to Hariharji Maharaj, Guruji, for his blessings, his guidance. I'm SatyaKalra, your host and founder of Path to Anandam. And whatever you see in this on this page, this is all blessing of Swami Hariharji Maharaj. And founding of Path to Anandam was his guidance, where we teach, preach, practice the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita and guide how to be happy, how to be worry-free, how to be fear-free, how to have a courage, develop love and compassion, and walk on the path of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So all these books are pertaining to those teachings based upon Bhagavad Gita and available on Path to Anandam website as well as on Amazon. Today's series is based on chapter 18. Main verse is number 5, but there is a supporting material from verse 1 to 4. How to self-purify ourselves through Yajna, Dan, and Tapa. And what is sannyasa and tyaga? Relationship of tyaga and sannyasa. Self-purification, the art of self-purification and its process. Benefits, practices, and homework. And sankalpa. I follow my duty. Meditation and question and answers at the end. So let's all pray to Shri Bhagwan Krishna Ji as a Arjun. We are the Arjuna of today who get confused, worried, challenged, and feel like in Vishad, just like in Arjuna. Could not think properly, run away from the situation. And Lord Krishna tells him to get up and get engaged in the duty. But he says, Na jotaseti govindam, I cannot perform my duty. But at the same time, he prays to Bhagwanji and says, give me your guidance. I surrender to you. So let's all walk on the same path and ask for his advice and walk on the path of his guidance. Karpanye dosho pete swabhava prashyami tvam dharma sammudi chetaha yachase isyani nishchitam bruhitan me Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam. Shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam. My heart is overpowered by the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure, and my mind is confused about my duty, my dharma, what to do, what not to do. I am requesting you, please tell me what is definitely good for me, not what am I asking for it. Because many times we ask what we want, and God's will is different. So here he's praying that tell me what is definitely good for me. Why? Because I'm your disciple. I surrender to you. So please instruct me. And after listening to Arjuna's request, Lord Krishna poured him with that infinite wisdom, Gita Gyan, and took him to that blissful journey where finally Arjuna was transformed. He was beyond Vishad, beyond fear, confusion, and reached to his highest conscious level, where he experienced that he is accompanied with Bhagwan, Lord Krishna, and got the glimpse of Chit Ananda. And finally he said, Karishye vachanam tav, I will do as you advise. So let's all listen to his advice and embark on that journey. So our divine company give many messages where Hariharji Maharaj, Guruji, translated in many forms with many quotations to guide us. So I put his quotations together and summarize them pertaining to this particular subject. That Gita is a step-by-step spiritual instruction manual to attain freedom from miseries and pains. Our whole subject, whole of the series is freedom from pains and miseries, and reach to moksha, liberation, eternal happiness, peace, experience oneness with the supreme power, and realize that I am Chit Ananda, not at the time of death, but while living in the material world, and of course beyond. Hariharji Maharaj. So Bhagwanji's guidance and his advice, taking us on this blissful journey to highest self through practicing Gita's teachings, where Lord Krishna spoke 574 verses out of 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. This has been further summarized in 3 yogas, Karma Yoga, from chapter 1 to 6, where he teaches us how to perform our duty. And then with love and compassion, from chapter 7 to 12, where he says, Vasudev Sarvamiti, everything is me and everything is action of mine. And then now we are on the journey of Jnana Yoga, true knowledge, from chapter 13 to 18, which is the Moksha Sannyas Yoga. And through that, he's guiding us, helping us to remove every layer of the ignorance, just like onion, and reaching to the essence of our well-being, our inner being. Just like onion, that sweet part, Anandamaya Kosha. So we reach to that Anandamaya Kosha. And here is the summary of Bhagavad Gita, where we put also the one other yoga, Dhyan Yoga. And through that, learning and going through all the teachings, we come out of Vishad, reach to the Prasad, to experience who we are. Ultimately, our true nature, I am no different than God. So chapter 18, Moksha Sannyas Yoga, path of renunciation and surrender. So self-purification and self-transformation to finally reaching to self-realization. I am Chit Ananda. And this is the ultimate summary of Bhagavad Gita. We have been on this journey together, and if you recall on chapter 2, Bhagwan Krishna was explaining what he was going to teach in the entire Bhagavad Gita. That was the introduction to Bhagavad Gita. And now, after going through the chapter 17, now is the time to graduate. 18th grade, the final year of our graduation, and the ultimate summary of Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagwanji explains previously in chapter 17 and whole chapter 13 to now 18, which is a summary, but up to 17, that we can reach, experience supreme power within us through Karma Yoga, through Bhakti Yoga, and now through Wisdom Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Ultimate Knowledge Yoga, where we have to know who we are. We are made with 3 gunas. We are the byproduct of Tamasic, Rajasic, Sattvic. The whole Mother Nature is made with 3 gunas, which are limitations to experience who we are. So he guides us how to go beyond it. And now he says, finally, ultimately, it is the path on surrender. We do anything and everything according to his will. So we have to now, finally, after learning how to go beyond our limitations, we are not the doers. We are just the actor of this big play. So how to surrender? So here it says Bhagavad Gita is the royal road to liberation, because it takes us from miseries to moksha, freedom from pains and miseries to ultimate liberation. So very first verse in this chapter is sannyasa versus tyaga. Arjuna asked that question. Sannyasasya mahabhavo tattvamishyami veditum tyagasya cha rishikesh prathake shinishudan. Arjuna said, I wish to know in details the truth about sannyasa, renunciation, and tyaga, sacrifice, separately, O Krishna. See, Arjuna has asked this question many times before. If we recall in chapter 4, 5, and actually chapter 3, I mean in Gyan Yoga, 3, 4, 5, Gyan Yoga comes now, but it started from very beginning. And the chapter 3 was where it says Karma Yoga, but then it comes Karma Yoga, Gyan Karma Yoga, Gyan, and then Gyan Karma Sannyas Yoga, then it becomes a Sannyas Karma Yoga, chapter 5. So it has, this sannyasa has been taught, and we have been hearing from Karma Yoga. And Arjuna asked that question. Is the sannyasa is better, sannyas yoga is better or karma yoga? And Bhagwan Krishna tells him, no, karma yoga is better because you are Kshatriya. But he still asked that question because in his mind, he is hoping that Bhagwanji somehow allow him to run away and let him go to Himalayas and do the sannyasa. And get out of this karma yoga, out of this war. But Bhagwanji is so blissful. Lord Krishna is so blissful. He is holding him back. Though he asked this question, that which one is better again? What is the difference? So he's trying to tell him, can I run away? And Bhagwanji said, here, karmanya sannyasa sannyasam, kavya vidu sarv karma phal tyaga, prahur tyag vishnam. Bhagwanji said, the wise classify sannyasa as, they declare sannyasa as referring from all action prompted by selfish desires. In other words, they abandon all the duties, everything from this world, as I have put it here. You know, this is sannyasi is doing the meditation right here. The wise regard tyaga to be abundant of the fruit of action, karma yoga. He's bringing him back and he's telling him that karma yoga. Now he's giving another name to karma yoga, tyaga, sacrifice. That fruit of all action must be abundant, not the action itself. Where we learned before in verse 247 that we should perform our duty without expecting any results. So here we can see Shankaracharya. Here you can see how the worldly people are, they're performing their duty. And here I put the image of Shankaracharya, where he is teaching. He was truly sannyasi. He had abandoned all of his worldly desires, actions, and he was only purpose was teach the supreme Gyan. Swami Ramnaji, he was one of them. But then I put this image where people are doing the volunteer work without expecting any results. Ma karma phaleshu. So no expectation of any results. So here is the renunciation of all action driven by selfish desire is sannyasa, means there are no desires left. And renunciation of fruit of action, tyaga, where the work is done, but the fruit of action is not expected. In other words, here I have given the another, here in the form of table, that very clear understanding, because this is such a confusing. And at one time I thought about it, even now think about it, there should be a special session, just a panel sessions, where there will be discussion about sannyasa versus tyaga. So what is sannyasa and what is renunciation and what is a sacrifice? So definition: renunciation of all action driven by desires. No, zero expectations, zero desires, worldly desires. These are the people who live in Himalayas. I have put the picture here. Vivekanandji. I mean, last week I met Ammaji. So again, I put Ammaji's image here. They are truly sannyasi. At the same time, the tyagi, the renunciation of the fruit of all action, selfless action. So this is a selfless action. They are tyagis. I put Modiji's picture, where he has everything he does for the sake of country, does not own anything. So here it says, physical and mental withdrawal from worldly life. But here, he's living the worldly life. Arjuna was living the worldly life. But Bhagwanji is teaching him, perform your duty. Karmanya vadika raste ma phaleshu kadachan ma karma phalhetu bhurma mate sango astu karmani. Do your action without any expectation. And their lifestyle, sannyasi's lifestyle is like living in the ashrams, or I would say Himalayas, living in monastic lifestyle like monks. But here, active engagement life in the worldly, like doing everything for sarva bhutite rata. And their focus, sannyasi's focus, is giving up personal motives and attachments, possessions, while tyagis perform their action with the bhava of seva, neki kar kuwe mein dal. Everything is for the Vasudev Kutumbakam. And their duties and responsibilities seen as giving up worldly duties. They have no worldly duties. In fact, they think that any activity will drive them to some kind of attachment, draw their attention toward worldly things. Therefore, they want to go away from it. And then here, tyagi continues to fulfill obligations, whatever the responsibility he is given. And then his approach is inner renunciation of the desire. So they do the work, but they have no desire for any results, any expectations. Where sannyasi, he is totally physically and mentally renounced. So in summary, I would say that sannyasa or sannyasi person is totally abundant. He's totally renounced from his physical activities and mental activities, mental attachment. Where tyagi, sacrifice, tyaga, is and renouncing from the worldly desires, but fulfilling the prescribed duty, whatever duty we have assigned, but without expecting any results. So here the renunciation is the fully renunciation, physical and mental, but as a tyagi, the renunciation is the mental renunciation, but not as the physical renunciation. They still continue to perform their duty, work. So here it says selfless service, karma yoga, leads us to self-knowledge. And finally, self-realization, ultimate peace. Tyaga Shanti Anantaram. Abhyasa Jnana Dhyanam Vishishyate. Dhyanat Karma Phalas Tyaga. Tyaga Shanti Anantaram. We can do everything, dhyana, we can contemplate, we can do dhyana, we can ultimately, it is the action which we perform that is the most highest one to take us to the ultimate peace. Because this is a summary of Bhagavad Gita, so that's why there are many shlokas pertaining to that subjects are coming. And then now, this particular verse where it says, Bhagwanji says, that the ultimate path is self-purification, as it is a royal road. But how? Path of self-purification. So he says we must not give up certain activities. Though sometimes we retire, we get out of the regular jobs, etc. But he says still we should do the, he says, Yag Dan Tap Karm Natajyam Karma Mev Tat Yago Danam Tapashvacha Pavnani Manishchani. In other words, acts of sacrifice, Yajna, charity, austerity, Tapa, should not be abundant, but must be performed under all circumstances, because service, charity, and austerity are purifier of heart of the wise man. So these are the purifiers. So Yajna, what it means by Yajna, we have spoken previously in previous chapter 5, very detailed. But here again in summary, what is Yajna? Actually, whole life is a Yajna. Tapasya, whole life is tapasya. Whole life is, so we must perform our duty. So like fire ceremonies, japa, selfless service, that it comes back to our karma yoga. Practice daily meditation and offer prayers. That's a yajna. This is the rupa of yajna, another form of yajna. Share your knowledge or skills with others. Whatever you have, just give a smile. Whatever you can afford. That's where it says. And these are all body, mind, and speeches, tapa. So yajnas, tapas, body, mind, and speech, we learned in previous session. Anudvekaram vakyam satyam parhitam cha. Swadhyaya abhyasnam vanmai tapuchyate. Then sharirmai tapuchyate when we do the seva. And then mind, man prasadam somatvam, monam atma vinagraha. Bhav shuddhir itye tapo manasam uchyate. So there was a manasam uchyate. Purification of mind, body, speech. And how we should do it? Here it says, yoga, meditation, pranayam, which we talk about in our practices. Practice mindfulness, daily self-reflection, which we do. Avoid negative talks. And then it says dhanam, we should not give up the dhanam. And dhanam are many different types. Bhuta dhanam means planting the trees, recycling the water, taking proper care of the water. That's all taking care of Panch Bhutas, Mother Earth, water. We should not pollute our environment. So all these bhutas, we must take care of all the 5 tattvas. And manavas, again, it comes a dana. Many people have a percentage of their income for charitable donations. And some of the religions are very good on this part. So we should have some dhanam. We should, whatever dhan we can do, whatever resources we have, whether we have our time, we should share our time and skills with others. With vidya, we can share our wisdom where it says previously. And abhay means we can motivate others, we can support others, support them, emotional support. encouragement. Sometimes people are very discouraged, so we should support them accordingly. So any good conduct is a purifier of the consciousness, because it says that Pavnani Manishyanam, even to higher souls, it ultimate path starts with the purification. In other words, we should cleanse ourselves. In other words, we should recognize that what are the qualities, limitations we are carrying: fear, worries, discouragement, resentment. All these are contamination in our soul and in our heart. It does not let us perform our duty properly. So that's why the self-purification is very, very important. I summarize it here, that what is self-purification and how it benefits, how it affects our body, mind, and soul. So here, there are spiritual processes. What happens when we do yajna, tapa, and danam? What is a spiritual process? Like with devotion, selfless service, what happens? Our ego gets down, gets finally dissolved, and then we can connect with others. Like when we are doing the seva, then little by initially we can start complaining our team and all that. Lately, after a while, we start developing, focusing on our purpose, and believe it or not, we start developing the love and compassion toward those people which we initially had the disagreements. And but that comes as tapa, self-discipline, control desires. It helps us to control our desires. When we do the austerity, we do the meditation, we finally start growing in spiritually. And then when we do the dhanam, then we develop more love and care. So loving and caring and love and compassion, we develop. And then little by little, we reduce our material attachments. What happens to our soul? Our soul gets more and more connected. We feel more happy, eternal happiness. Our impurities start burning, and we start experiencing the calmness within us. And it also promotes generosity, positive karmas, which we can say punya if somebody wants to say that one. And what happens to our mind? It reduces our selfishness. Me, mine. That I-ness and minus is reduced. It's strengthen our focus by meditation. We reduce our stress. And with dhanam, we connect with other people. And what happened to our body? Our physical discipline, it improves our health. It reduces our stress. Physiological impacts are lower blood pressure, enhances our immune system, and also it is a neurological effect. It increases our good hormones, happy hormones like endorphins, dopamine, and it gives us calmness and improves our mood and increase. And now if you look at the physiological and physical part of it, actually study shows that, actually it's a medical research, and a study shows that increases the gray matter in our brain, which is very, very important part of it, because when we get older, that matter gray matter start kind of drying up, and that's where with the age, the memories and all those people, Alzheimer diseases come, because the brain cells start shrinking. But with all these activities, yajnas, tapas, meditation, selfless service, with feeling of donation, not just money, but others, then what happens? Our brain start working, our neurological system start working, we start detoxing our body, metabolic system increases the activities, our liver, our lungs, our heart start working better, and releases healing hormones, enhances health, activate pleasure, reduces. So again, yajnas, tapas, danas, all they take us to well-being, happy, healthy, and peaceful lives. So selfless service, again, I put it here, brings the self-knowledge and self-realization, as we learn in chapter 4, verse 38, that in due time, by doing seva, that self-knowledge automatically comes. So I put it here again, that by doing all these yajnas, not just yajnas of the havan or anything, of course, that's important, but the havan of purifying our chakras, meditation, taking care of all these, doing good, seeing good, doing good, hearing good, and then again comes to, so all these yagdan tap purify us. So the practice time, how we should practice yajna, tapa, dana. Again, the essence of Gyan Yog 13 to 18. Adat buri sudhar lo, ho gaya bhajan. Anything which comes in our way, any limitations which causes our miseries, like kam, krodh, lo, moh, ahankar, ego, all those 5 plus 2 enemies causes us miseries. And by practicing, we go beyond our ego, beyond our greed, beyond our attachments. And we finally reach to the moksha. So here again, the practicing of all these activities, we attain from miseries. By practicing yajna, tapa, dana, we purify ourselves and experience ultimate moksha, who we are. So by practicing, setting up our day in the morning with teaching learning Bhagavad Gita, studying Om, or our japa, Om mantra, or reading some autography or some scriptures, Bhagavad Gita or Ramayana, Guru Granth Sahib, whatever resonates with us. But first thing in the morning, we should, before even getting from bed, I think this is the practice I like to do, emphasize it. Do your mantra in the morning, while even before you get up from the bed. And other thing is express the gratitude that, thank God, I'm awake, I'm breathing, I can walk, I can stand up, I can eat, I can think, and be with me for rest of the day. And then do our exercises, yoga, pranayama, meditation, etc., to strengthen our body, mind. And during the day, take anything, whatever limitations you think you want to work on it, whatever activity related to it, which purifies us more, which transforms us more. This is the daily spiritual planner for self-transformation. It's given day by day, 30 days planner. So we must practice, whether it's a part of body, mind, or soul, whether it's a yajna's activity or tapas or danas, whether it's any sacrifice, whether it's any austerity or any charity. And by doing little by little, we will experience this and continue as I summarized it before. And then in the evening, we should just sit down and evaluate our progress. And then whatever we have done good, sometimes the things which we do not like and we put them in the category of bad, it's okay. Next day, do it better and pray to God for helping us to do better and better and better every day. And then just as Bhagwan ji said, Sarv dharman paritajyam. Mamekam sharanam braj. Aham tvam sarpapebhyo mokshashyami ma shucha. Don't worry. Just be on the path of self-purification. Eventually you will transform and experience me. So don't worry about it. Continue on this path. Eventually you will go beyond this birth and death and come to the ultimate moksha, liberation. So, homework time. Be aware and ask yourself, ask myself, which is called self-inquiry. Swadhyaya Abhyasana. Do I have my supreme goal of my life, liberation, moksha, self-realization? Do I practice yajna and self-discipline? Do I share my resources with others? Am I selfish or selfless? That is the fundamental question we need to ask all the time. Is this desire for my selfish reasons, or is this for the benefit of all? Sarva bhuti And then continue to practice mindfulness, meditation. So basically, this is our lifestyles. This eventually takes us to sattvic. More we practice sattvic lifestyle, our lifestyle becomes sattvic. That leads us to purity, goodness. Goodness means sattvic. And our thoughts become sattvic. Our food becomes sattvic. Our speech becomes sattvic. Our listening, our action, everything becomes sattvic. And the sattvicness, that's where the tapa, tyaga comes. They're all live the sattvic lifestyle. And once sattvic lifestyle takes us to finally to sannyasa. Like we have our different ashrams. And after grastha ashram, one vanaprastha ashram, and then eventually sannyas ashram, ultimate ashram, fourth ashram. That's where we reach. So even our scriptures have described different ages of our life from 25, from childhood, 25 to youth, to up to 50, the grastha ashram, to vanaprastha ashram, to ultimate reaching to supreme power. So whatever way we analyze it, look at it, this now the summary of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, we have to become sakshi, which we learned previously. Observe ourselves and continue on to live the life of yajna. My life is a yajna. My life is a tapasvi. I am a tapasvi. And I am a dani. Whatever we come, we should work on it. We should. And now our sankalpa is by purifying. I am a pure soul. So I continue on the path of self-purification, yajna, tapa, charity, but to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, and continue to practice, to not feel discouraged, because Bhagwanji says, once you do the sankalpa, then little by little, your buddhi will transform. You will purify yourself, transform, and experience who I am, experience the eternal happiness. You will be more happy, healthy, and peaceful, and experience that I am Chit Ananda. Aham Brahmasmi. The key word here is follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita or scriptures, and little by little, you will blossom like a tree and bear the fruit which I'm sure you are experiencing it. But don't worry, have a patience like a little turtle shows here. Continue your journey. That's where it says, I continue on the path of self-purification. So thank you very much for attending the session. Cleanse your soul, cleanse your inner being through yajna, charity, and discipline, and experience the freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy, and peaceful life. Thank you.